So, yeah, I'm Roger Clem. I've been assembling the slideshow from the wonderful submissions that people have made to us. There's one person that we have no information about their slides. So.
That would be me.
Okay, well, you can talk when yours are up.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is we have a whole bunch of people and we are kind of limited for time. I'm going to be manually advancing the pictures. And I've, at the end of each one, at the beginning of each one, I have a next up. So if you're the next up, please be ready to either come over here and talk or just to talk. It's a flash drive. Sure. Sorry. Okay, so thank you, Ty. Take it away.
Okay, so as was said, I'm your Native Plant Society's San Gabriel Mountains representative to the chapter council. And I haven't been able to give reports quarterly back to the chapter, and I think that's very important. So I'm going to try to basically condense the last three chapter council meetings into one really quick little talk. The director, she gives a talk every time, and this time it was focused on the fact that we're in extraordinary times. Science and environment are under attack, and we need to stay the course, but how do we address what matters most? We had to pause some of our regular programs that are putting together a 3-year action plan, which is assuming in 3 years we'll get through this administration. And it won't go beyond that. Hopefully that's the case. So we're in this is an interesting picture. This is the way a lot of people pose for pictures on the field trips at the chapter council. So we're trying to save what matters most is the campaign, using actionable science and advocacy, transforming the urban environment, stewarding nature under threat. We have real engagement. The California Native Plant Society right now has 13,120 members, 50,000 email subscribers, and 244,000 social media subscribers. So we have the possibility of being a very, very powerful organization when we can mobilize people. Our finances are on track as an organization. Our new goals are save, enhance, and restore. We have biodiversity initiatives, conservation, important plant areas, climate change, forestry, desert conservation, endangered species, regional conservation planning, wildfire and native plant actions committees, and conservation policies. Our local chapter's contribution, and the last one was on restoring areas that are infested with Phytophthora, which was very interesting talk. I can't go into it right now, but it was interesting, and you can talk to me more about it later if you would like to. They're working on a code of conduct for a CNPS. It's not ready for rollout yet. We're also working at some changes with finance right now. All the chapters can use Square in order to do financial transactions, but there's a 3.5% charge. So they're investigating finding more peer-to-peer payment methods that don't have a charge and seeing whether there's a risk, what the risk benefits are for that. There's also a suggestion for a creation of an ad hoc committee to create a resource for newer people in leadership roles in CNPS, which I think is a great idea because they ask you to come in and step in and do some leadership stuff, and you have no idea what it's going to entail, and it's kind of scary. There's important plant areas. There's a large discussion, but the bottom line is CNPS is working to identify and designate important plant areas in accordance with several other criteria. Other discussions we have include SB 131, which is the Senate bill in California, WICI and CEQA, which has already taken effect. But and how do we combat that? But watch for action alerts. There's they're on the CNPS webpage. There are action alerts that you can access and sign up for them. Yes, thank you. Or good. There's a whole lot of list of other things. I wanted to also point out that this is my last slide. Perfect timing. We did lobby day after the June meeting where we went to the Capitol, and there were 25 of us, and we went in groups of 5 or 4, and each group lobbied 5 senators or representatives. We went to their offices, and we got 15 or 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer when they liked what we were saying, and we could tell them about what our problems were with SB 131, what our problems were with the zero zone, And so we're doing that, you know, at the state level of politics, and that's something that CNPS is doing, and you all can be involved in as well. That's that.
I'm gonna take a break a minute here and adjust the,
And then you have to start over because mine weren't full screen.
yeah.
Then you have to talk twice as fast.
Oh, that's all of them being recorded, thank you.
The good and the bad.
Doesn't the slideshow have two slides?
Yeah, I think you need to, the slideshow needs to start.
Right.
So, and then, yeah, and then, okay, so start it and then wiggle every series.
Wiggle.
No, you found. Still.
Okay.
Go back to the social.
It's kind of weird.
It's being
Try
great.
view there.
About this nice business that I need to just install it.
Try to go here, yeah.
Oh.
Now.
You don't think the slideshow have two? Chapter.
Apologies, folks.
Yeah.
Have across the top of the stair. Yeah.
Yeah.
We usually have that.
Yeah. You want to just.
Oh, it's your small, you can go right there. Now, it's slideshow. Joe from the first slide.
Well.
Just start, go back to the main, start this slide, like almost always there. Although I guess they're not there for you.
Yeah, it's like, it's not.
Okay.
No. Apologies, folks. So, Karen, I believe these are your slides,
Try the three little dots below there.
little dots.
Can you see the three little dots above Angelus? In the picture, the far right.
Where it says to the left of slide 22,
Those three dots.
It has that.
Oh, that one.
And it's.
Sorry, I'm not seeing them on my screen.
Well, they turn the lights on, you can't see it now.
should I turn it off?
Roger.
Yeah,
I think right here.
yeah, yeah,
It's gonna show up on your screen.
He
it's
doesn't
not on my,
have that.
not on my screen,
There.
so it is not doing it. Okay, apologies.
Okay, now start over.
Okay, so now the people online are probably seeing the,
No, they're not seeing it, you need to start to share over again.
now I need to share. Oh, jeez.
Sorry, sorry.
Share. And that, what the hell?
But
Sorry,
that's not,
folks, this is the best I can do.
that's not me though.
That's not you?
No.
Ah, well, somebody,
Patricia.
That's Patricia.
no, she's next up after this. So this is somebody who sent us a bunch of gorgeous pictures in the Angeles National Forest and,
We'll just enjoy them.
so yeah, I'll just enjoy them. No plan, no
If
plan.
somebody wants to throw out an ID, go ahead.
No plan.
Dear.
What is that? Events.
There's, Carlton Lupin, yeah.
Yeah.
Send your reform here.
This is.
Nothing, this one?
This one.
Oh, yeah.
Lori's left.
The ice king frozen on the standing that fell off.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to. Woo! So, Patricia's the next up. Patricia's online, so please unmute yourself. Hopefully. we see you.
Hi, hello everyone. You can hear me well?
Yeah, yes.
Barely.
Yeah. Some of the pictures, like I already almost 20 years. So I'm even surprised there. This is very close to my house, so I can enjoy looking at them. This is when I am walking around and I have Joshua trees across the street, so I have a chance to take picture of this, and I love to do that. This was an amazing, because I took this picture on campus. It was, of course, a winter day. I don't even know how that was created, but it was just a piece of art. The ocotillo, and with all the ice, because it was receiving, water from the sprinkle there, and somehow this was happening, and it was beautiful to see.
Artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when I have the time, I paint something.
Same person.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a bunch of, yeah. Thank you. There are very nice things around. Oh, is Alana here?
Thank you for joining us in person.
Hi, thanks everyone. I just wanted to say it's really cool that I'm after Patricia, because she's actually a botany professor that I met who works at Antelope Valley College and does bee surveys. So she's worked at some of the other places that I've met people from, like Transition Habitat, Transition Habitat Conservancy, and at the Antelope Valley Resource Conservation Districts. So nice to see her artwork too. And this is a photo that I took when I was going out to check out the Menoc Habitat Wildlife Preserve. And I hadn't been there before, so I was actually on the wrong side of the street, but I noticed there was lightning, and I wasn't expecting it that day at all because I hadn't checked the forecast. But it was just really lovely to see rain in the desert. Like in the distance, that little line you can see is actually Joshua trees. And in the preserve itself, it's a Joshua tree juniper woodland. And it was just a really nice evening that kind of reminded me of home with how intense the thunderstorm was, with like the actual thunder and lightning. So just wanted to share a pretty bit of the Mojave Desert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And here was John Thompson with gorgeous pictures as usual.
Well, I organized my pictures this year around flowers that I loved so much I wanted to see them a second time. So almost all these flowers are repeat places and repeat flowers. And now I want to see them on a third time because I had so much fun looking for them a second time. This is my first trip in May out to only an hour from here near Westlake Village, one of the open spaces. I went out there to prove to myself and to Jennifer that there was nothing to see out there and that it was too early for Catalina mariposas, and I was wrong. There were 12, only 12, but this was one of them. And I've always, all my other Catalina mariposas are surrounded by thistles and mustard, so I was delighted finally to see them standing out.
Is that blue dips in the background?
That is exactly what that is.
But you can't have too many lilies.
Second trip we took was towards Figueroa Mountain and Grass Mountain, and we'd gotten a tip that there was something really interesting to see there. But along the way, I looked to the right, and there was one and only one little patch of wind poppies, which I find unpredictable. And sometimes there. Yeah, and there they were, and until I got back and looked at this, in editing the photo, I had no idea the stamens were just jet black like that, and the colors just kind of blew me away, so I obtained another loaf. Same trip, Mary Ann and I did a 2 mile hike up just a wretched trail to a place that had burned, just last summer, and there were about 5,000 Catalina mariposas blooming up there, and some nice coast paintbrush to accent it, and lupin and all kinds of stuff, but the spectacle of, 3, 4, 5,000 mariposas just was speechless. Next trip we did was northeast of Bakersfield in the Greenhorn Mountains up Rancheria Road to revisit the Greenhorn Fritillary, to a place we've been about 7 years ago. But between now and then, there was another big fire that blew through there, and you can see this pine tree is totally scorched alive, but there's nothing that's blackened bark, and it made a really nice background to capture the Greenhorn
Are
Fritillary.
those like orchids?
No, it's a fritillary, it's a lily family. We continued north to Sequoia and saw a lot of interesting flowers, but this rockcress is a hard flower to photograph for me because it's always wiggling. And it just tends to get washed out, but this one was in an alcove where it was a shady waterfall and the sunlight was on it. That this is your day to shine, so that's why I brought that one back with me. Mid-June, we went to James Dilley Reserve in Orange County to look for intermediate mariposas, which I'd only seen once before near Diamond Bar. Intermediate mariposas often look like plumber's mariposas, but intermediates can be so much more variable. And so we were looking for the odd one out, and this, for me, this was the flower of the day, this amazing burgundy intermediate mariposa. I was then surprised 10 minutes later to see another intermediate mariposa that could not look much more different from the first one than this amazing yellow one was. So it was, it's an amazing flower, and it was an easy hike on a trail called the Mariposa Trail. You'll remember that. Then we went north into Siskiyou County for about a 4-day trip looking for orchids, and we were happy to find a patch of these lady slipper orchids at a really wet seep along the road, not too far from Mount Shasta City. That was a nice thing to find. The next day we were on another forest road. There in a ditch full of water was just a massive colony of Shasta lilies. Fun thing to find there too. Then we went even further north, almost to the Oregon border, into another burn zone, but there were places where the fire had skipped over that were still forested, and in the forest we found 2 places where purple flowered Washington lilies were just thriving. I mean, you feel like you're in a florist shop. These things are so big and so pink. It's just, is this really a wild orchid? And yeah, it
What
is.
was the scent of them?
Right,
They have a scent?
it wasn't that strong.
Not like those.
Not like the lemon lily. This is the only new flower of the ones in this whole selection and that we actually were looking for, and we were way too late for these. This is late June. These guys were mostly gone 3 weeks earlier, but we found a place on the north facing slope where there must have been late lying snow, and there were 6 plants of cliff maids, which I fell in love with when we bought some at Trader Joe's. But in our garden. And I said, well, we need to do something more authentic than that. Back towards Wairika on our way back, we stopped at a place where Siskiyou mariposas grow, and it's a very restricted mariposa. There's only 2 places in California and 1 place in Oregon where you can find these, but when you find them, they're fairly abundant if the season is right. And I think of the plain mariposas without a lot of markings, this may well be the prettiest of the plain ones, at least in my experience. And this is from the same spot, a ridge. Wairika's down there below us. It's Mount Shasta and silverflower buckwheat, and several other buckwheats were blooming everywhere. But this was our very last stop, and it was hard to tear ourselves away. But it's how wildflower trips end, right? Wishing we had more time. I've got a Micro Four Thirds digital camera, a little Panasonic, and it's a good job.
Yeah, they're great.
Thanks.
Okay, so I've got a few pictures here. First up is the Harlequin lupin that I was fortunate to see a decade ago on a plant walk. And this was a population in Chileo that I didn't know about.
Oh, yeah.
So they're really gorgeous. Snow plant also in the Chileo area. You see a couple of, they're just very striking in this, open grassy field. And it's just bright red plant, of course, entirely parasitic. Red was kind of the color of the day. I enjoy the scarlet bugler here. In the background is Mount Wilson with the marine layer coming over it, which I thought was kind of amazing. And then bladder pod, which was hosting a bunch of insects. This is a plant that amazes me because it grows all the way from the beach through the mountains out to the deserts. And this was just full of flowers. Giant flowered Phacelia, which I had, it's a fire follower, but it's more of a disturbance follower. And I looked at this and then, why is this on this trail? It's on the Brown Mountain Trail, Brown Mountain Road, and the Eaton fire stopped, a couple of bridges over. What the hell? They've done road grading, so this is the disturbance of it.
I think the ash too.
That could well help. This, I did a bike ride up the Highway 39, and at about the 4,000-foot level, there's this delightful little spring right by the side of the road, and had some columbine and stream orchid. Further up the road in the closed section, where these on the bottom of an otherwise unvegetated rock cliff, were these sticky monkey flowers that were just blooming their hearts out. And I always find these, they're kind of temperamental in gardens, and yet in nature they grow on these west-facing rock slopes. Here's another yellow flower in my local open space, Fawn Park and Shadow Hills, and clustered tarweed, kind of the only thing blooming at that time. And this, I think, is just the absolute cutest little buckwheat. Rock buckwheat grows kind of at the 4,000-foot level and up in the San Gabriel Mountains. Just an adorable little plant.
Trying to pretend to be a dudley.
Yeah, right. And this is a little further up on southbound Hawkins, giant blazing star. These must be moth pollinated because the flowers open up at night. And also they're, not everything's pretty as a flower. I love these big cone Douglas fir. Just the structure of them is fascinating. They really are picturesque. And another structural plant, the white fir. I love looking up into the branches to see the intricate patterns. This happened to be in Crater Lake, but I've seen them in the San Gabriel Mountains as well. And that's all of my pictures. So thank you. Next one is Neil Turner, who is online, I believe, so.
All right,
Thank you.
I'm calling this an eclectic mix of plants, all from the last year or so. So this beauty, Terry Keller and I bumped into this, we're hiking partners, and Barrett Stoddard Road is on your way to Mount Baldy Road. When I saw this, I realized what it was because it has a gun sight figure of the petals. I don't know what the plant, how the plant knows to make its petals this way when it's a clarkia, but there are a few species that do this ribbon-like look. Next slide is a close-up of that amazing stigma, four-parted stigma. It looks like something you'd wear up in the snow. Off to the right are the heavily ribbed fruits, I should say, with seeds inside. So we found a small population here, and I'm hoping Terry shows his slide of the same plants together. If you're hiking in some of the low wet basin around here, a number of years ago I ran into this and did not know what this plant was. Now I've seen it in most drying basins. They're muddy or turning to even dirt. Malugo. What family is it in? Maluganaceae. I wouldn't have known that, but I picked it up this morning.
And how many genera are there in that family?
Actually, worldwide, there's like 130 species, I believe.
In California, one?
No, very few. This one, right, South American plant. You might mistake it for a galium. It looks like a
It looks a lot.
Very interesting little plant. Next. Okay, I met this plant once in Baja, California. It's 20, 30 years ago, and we were setting up camp halfway down Baja. And I sat on one of these. Holy mackerel. If there's a stickery plant, this is it. It's a grass called Matt Sandberg, Synchris genus. Some people are putting the mountain grass in Synchra. A close-up of those spiky fruits. This is the flower head. And I tell you, if you go to pick them up with your fingers, as I did to get them out of my socks and shoes, and then I put them on my butcher block to get these photos, you can't let go of them. They grab you. There's like backward pointing barbs in those little spikes. So watch out for this. The main thing I have to do is I think let the city of Lakewood know, and maybe Sacramento weed folks know that this is maybe the first LA County record for
Really?
it. There are a few old Bavaria records. It's known from Antelope Valley. But it jumps from Orange County, and now Lakewood is in the south end of our county, so. Next,
Is it a native plant or not?
it is non-native. I think Mexico. And why would I include this slide? Well, Cook and Gabi have pulled so much star thistle, but it's the other kind. This was up north in Oregon. Wicked spikes at the bottom, it's spiky plant night tonight. So there's these super long spikes sticking out of the filaries. And so this makes it a little different and even a nastier weed than our local star thistle. And this is a remarkably pretty plant. Some of you probably know it as bachelor buttons. It's also cornflower. Centaurea, so it's the same genus as the plant I just showed you. The beautiful thistle. So you can find these coming up with Whittier Narrow Cycling Road 2 years ago. I've never seen them before. I worked there for many years, never saw them. So somebody's probably running around with seeds. And is that it?
That's it.
Do they?
Am I coming through?
For some that were non-native, right? Those were not all native.
No, I am native and non-native, mostly non-native.
Okay, so.
Is that okay?
I didn't say that. I just want to clarify.
So they're labeled as bad.
The wrong group, Nikki.
Next time. I'll put it
Okay, so Neil online, if you could unmute yourself and speak really loudly, because for some reason the volume is very low in the room for the online folks.
Can you
Neil.
hear me?
Barely.
Okay, well, these are some pictures that I took in my Altadena garden over the last 12 months. Some of them are plants that I originally bought at CNPS plant sales, and my garden was a few hundred feet outside of the burn zone from the Eden fire, luckily. And I bought many of these things for habitat plants, so you can see a bunch of native bees. California has surprising diversity of native bees. Here are a wasp on the left, and so skipping ahead to sweat bee, I believe, and then on the right, the hummingbird is having, I think, extra floral nectar on that Clarkia. Some of the native bumblebees loving purple plants of various kinds.
Speak up for us, Neil.
Yeah, we can still barely hear you.
I see. Okay, a native wasp on the left, monarch on the right, enjoying fiddleneck.
Terry, and then next up we have Marcy, who is, I believe is online, and William's here.
Okay, the arrangement here is chronological. This one started right after our last year's meeting. So, but at this time of year, it's great to get up into the mountains. The rabbit bush is in flower, and lots of bugs like to come to it. So it's a really entertaining, kind of neat how in the fall, yellow kind of predominates in the colors. When the toyon berry is ripe, and where's Orchid? She's got her toyon shirt on with us today. The birds come out to feast on the fruit. So always fun to watch those. So the bluebird on the left up there is eyeing the fruit, and the one on the right is downing some. And this is the Clarkie that Mickey showed you a few minutes ago, and like he said, when he saw it, he instantly knew what it was. And this is a couple days later from Mickey's picture, because when I asked Kier Morse about it, he said, "I need measurements." Back out we go. Yeah. Right. I showed you one of these last year that was loaded with bugs. This one's minus bugs, but you look to the right and you can see the importance here. This is in the bridge fire burn area, and everything was out in abundance. I wanted to show you 10 slides of just Palmer's Mariposa lily going from white to black and everything in between. But I figured other people would probably be showing those, so I just brought the club hair Mariposa lily this time. Another plant from the burn area, the golden eardrops, and it was neat to see this candidate for endangered species listing out there gathering pollen and nectar from it. And you can also have sensitive species show up in your yard. You just put plants there, you know. So this is one out in my yard that I watched for several days collecting. Notice the pollen on this one on its rear leg. You can see it is yellow where the other one was red. We also saw these in the what's used to be called the duck farm, where it's what's the name of the nature center?
San Gabriel River Center.
San Gabriel River
Center.
Nature
It's open
Center,
now?
where- Yeah, they had plantings there of sage, and Crotch's bumblebee was there too. So you plant it, they will come. Cool. Yeah, elderberry, the fruits are a favorite of lots of things. There's a band-tailed pigeon doing acrobatics to get to the fruit. And on the left is a mockingbird, and the right, Nettles woodpecker, also after the fruit. And just a couple weeks ago up on Angeles Crest Highway, it's a tanager after the coffeeberry fruit, really picking out on it. They're having a good time.
Thank you, very nice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having this art show. This has been great fun. This is my first time seeing this. So I was inspired to paint one of my neighbor's Matalegia poppy bushes. So I'm a costume designer by trade, but and have used watercolor during my doing costume sketches, but I'm now going back into painting some nature. So I'm having some fun doing that. So thanks for including me.
Thanks for submitting, thanks. Now we have William. And Bobby's up next after William.
So this was from trip about a year ago to the ice slip saddle, of course the rabbit brush, just everywhere. Probably the first thing we saw in the parking lot. But we saw tons of pollinators, bumblebees. So where I work, the Arlington Garden, we're trying to bring the native bees into the garden. So black-tailed bumblebee. Of course, we know that our native California bees are kind of imperiled due to the ubiquity of honeybees. So it's nice to see some of the native species. This one, if you're looking for a bee, it's a little bit smaller than what you'd expect to even see. The tiny little tripartite sweat bee, which is just foraging for pollen here on the California poppy. A little bush kit also at Arlington, foraging in the St. Catherine's lace. And yeah, our cedar waxwing, just at the end of December, making use of the toyon berries. Cedar waxwings apparently can survive just on fruit alone, so they obviously appreciate the appearance of those berries in December. Tarantula hawk wasp at Eaton Canyon on the late summer blooming scale broom.
Female with a curly antenna.
With a curly antenna, and I believe that Nikki also helped ID this with the orange antenna as being mills or milbees.
Mildy eye.
Mildy eye, yeah. Tarantula hawk wasp. Felix Wren, also in late summer, foraging in the crispy dried leaves of the, mill fat there, in the, just along the creek, which at this time of, this was like probably around this time of year last year. Another shot from Eden Canyon a couple of years back, thin cushions, spring bloom there, and I included some from the fire. This was Cheney Trail corridor, but even, you know, so just after the fire, we already see, you know, life coming back. And this oak tree, which, in Altadena, just below Loma Alta, that street was completely devastated. There's probably nary a house standing, and yet, obviously intense fire, and yet, we have the oak tree that is still there. And I encourage everybody to, you know, I don't know if you've been to Altadena lately, but, you know, just take a look at, what actually happened and, see what's happening there now, and, you know, the houses that burned and what's still there, like this oak tree. Thank you.
Thank you. Jobbing and that home now.
Yeah, so this fire was just devastating to all of us. And I find solace in remembering other recoveries from other fires. So these pictures are all not from the Eden Canyon. Well, there's one picture of Eden Canyon, but this is when we witnessed recovery from other fires. The Poodle Dog Bush, which is a fire follower with the calcium checker spot. Here's recovery of the scale broom at Santa Fe Dam. It is amazing how quickly it comes up. A couple of months, they're resprouting. And also, this is also scale broom. This is coming up from seed. That's how the scale broom looks on the left when it's coming up from seed. Very different display, and the right, of course, and the flowers. Another observation in the recovery is the wild cucumber, one of the first plants that come up and they grow over the charred shrubs and provide shade and nursery room for other new plants. And here our large browed Phacelia that you saw from Roger too. Yes, it is a fire follower and it is disturbance follower, but it does benefit from the ash. Stinging lupin. I'm seeing fields and fields of on the slopes of the San Gabriel River. And this one is the western sycamore resprouting also in the Cheney Trail area. Just so incredible. It looks like it's a black trunk and nothing else, and here come the green leaves. Some lilies, the Plummus mariposa lily, that we've seen in Cheney Trail, and Palmas mariposa lily that we've seen at Devil's Punch Bowl a couple of years ago after the Bobcat fire. And of course, our lemon lily up in the Cienega. You could see the charred trees in the background, but the meadow with the helianthus and the lemon lily are showy and bring us hope that we can manage and will recover.
Thank you. And here's Helena, and this is from an earlier edit, and we've already seen latest. So,
Well, I didn't bring any pictures. I brought some art instead. I like to make stuff with my hands. So here I had teaching a class how to make little books. So when I was done, I decided to draw all the little plants that we bought on the plant sale that I have in my yard. So it is, and also like to use candy cans and turn them into little art pieces. So. And then one Easter I had what called pussy willows, and I thought, well, they dry nicely. I wonder what I can do with them. So I made a bunny, and then I put native plants behind it. There's also the chocolate egg there on the bottom. And here's something from the Mojave Desert. I like to mix media, so the black man there is made of a tar-like substance. Probably very unplastic. And that's my art box. And someone gave me a big cigar box. And I don't know, I just like boxes. So I wasn't sure what to do about it. So I had it for years. And I decided after visiting Tejon Ranch, I made a lot of art about Tejon Ranch, that it would be kind of a fun idea to have it inside like that. And the art on that inside. Those stamps, there is my version of those famous stamps. The British Guinea and the upside down Jenny and all that. Does the video work?
yeah, and that's the end of yours. So, thank you.
Okay.
And I wanted to make a special thank you to everyone who contributed to make this evening possible. All of our wonderful art, picture and art presenters, and all of the other folks who brought food for dinner, and just thanks everyone.